What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Paranormal Axetvities with your host, Ben Axe. And still in the studio, continuing from the last episode, right across from me, my wife, the lovely Danae Axe. And right to my right, also lovely, the awesome Jim, and I still fucking forget your name.
Manning, like in Peyton Manning?
Jim Manning, alright. Sorry,
You're
I thought I would...
good
Boy, I
host.
tell you what. Anyway.
Like, as I was talking, I was like, I still don't remember it.
You were like trying to do this like really professional, like wrestling announcer
Him professional?
voice.
No.
Yeah.
It's-
And I still don't know who you are.
I know the first name. I'm not good with last names. I almost called you Railsback last night.
That's not my name anymore.
Can I call him Ben Affleck?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
That's been Affleck.
Whatever. I prefer Ben the Axe Effect. That's where we roll. So anyway, we're back. This is a two-parter. Episode 2, back with Jim. Awesome experiences, awesome places of history. My phone's blowing up on me here. And awesome stories in general thus far. So we're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So we left off with
Awesome.
the woman in white, and like we mentioned in the last episode, a lot of people have seen that.
Yes.
And I think that's interesting. Like my experience was more negative, but her spirit herself in my story wasn't scary, but just the events around it. It was a very negative household. So I think it's interesting that we both saw something similar to that, but yours was positive and mine was negative.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what the atmosphere is, on how you see things, how you perceive things. If you raised in a negative way or you're around a lot of negative people, a lot of negative spirits, excuse me, I hate to say it, but demons or, can actually approach you. You have to be careful on what you do, what you say, and how you actually live your life, on how you perceive things.
Because it's an emotional. So like what it is like whatever you're putting out is what
You're going to receive.
is what you're going to receive. So if you're putting out fear, anxiety, a lot of the biblical stories, you're going to see a lot of
what the
demons.
saying is, but what you give out, make sure you're going to receive 10 times fold
Sevenfold,
back.
yeah.
Sevenfold back.
It's like the law of attraction. So if you're afraid, you're going to see a lot of ghosts and malice in demons and that kind of stuff. If you're somebody that just is okay and just accepts things for what they are, you'll probably see positive things, hear from loved ones or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. It is absolutely what you put out.
Put out into it.
Well, I have to ask now. You brought up demons twice now. Have you seen a demon? Have you interacted with a demon?
I haven't actually experienced, but I've been around people that I guess you can say have a demon feel, or they worship the
people that have been around it.
It just feels bad.
Bad,
Very
very
negative.
bad.
Very
That's
negative.
like,
And to me, when I'm in that situation, I get very uncomfortable,
yeah,
and I want to leave.
yeah, because you're wanting to get away.
And a lot of people ask me, "Are you okay?" It's like, and you know, to protect yourself, you're like, "Yeah, I'm okay, but
Sure.
I have to go do this." You
Yeah,
know,
I
just to
have
try to-
social anxiety. It's my
Yeah,
problem.
that's fair,
It's
yeah,
not
that's a
you.
common-
Exactly.
That's what I always say.
It's like,
I mean,
I can see that your soul is full of gargoyles, and I don't want to be around you.
I mean, there's been situations that I've been in that you can actually feel the energy, the evilness.
Yes.
I call it temptation.
Okay.
That you want to do this, but in reality, your mind is saying, and your inner soul, your inner spirit is saying, it's like, no, step away, go the other direction.
Yeah, like this is wrong.
It's basically your inner voice, or like many of us have guardian angels.
Yeah.
Like your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or a very dear friend that comes back to you and says, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
You hear it in your mind and you're looking around, it's like, okay, I heard their voice. I hear my mom's voice. I hear my grandmother's voice. I hear my grandpa. I hear my grandmother's voice. And there's a lot of situations that I've been in my youth that I hear my voices. Not that I'm crazy.
You're a little crazy.
We don't use that word.
Well, we don't use that word at all. Yeah. But no, in situations that you get involved in, and you hear a voice saying, "It's like I shouldn't do that," listen to it, because it's either a spirit guiding you, it's your inner soul guiding you, or both.
I had that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you mentioned like inner soul a couple of times, and I just want to I know what you mean when you say that, but for people that don't, when you say that, you mean like the very depths of you.
Yes.
Not, the Christian ideology behind the word soul, but like your absolute inner core.
It's your inner core, because not only do I believe in the spirit world, I also believe in the reincarnation.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like
because there's
the archaic self is
Yes.
what you mean by inner soul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of people agree to this, that you have past lives.
Yes. Oh, I'm one of those. I totally.
You are all about reincarnation.
I am. I totally am, and I'm not ashamed of it. I think that it explains our development. I think it
Explains who you are.
Yeah, it does. Like your intellectual, your spiritual growth, like your inner self, I think is very defined by past lives.
Exactly.
You do not dreams as the idea right now. They say that dreams are like your way to process everything that you went through while you were awake, and you're supposed to dream about this stuff.
That's a theory. Yeah.
That's what science is trying to.
Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah.
I've had two, and so have you. You've had some really insane, vivid dreams that you've talked about, like the drowning on the boat and stuff, before you even knew about the movie Titanic.
Oh, yeah, that shit's crazy. Man, there was a time I was probably 5 years old. I woke up bawling because I was on a boat and there were people waving at me. Yeah. And that was it. But I was sobbing because of the heaviness that was around that image. Yeah. And then I got obsessed with Titanic, obsessed.
4 years later, he fell in love with Titanic.
Yeah, I remember riding my bike to the library to read books about Titanic, and then the movie came out a couple years later. I was obsessed. Yeah. Still am a little bit.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Who isn't?
Right.
We have the board game.
Yeah, man. It was crazy, but and that was before the movie. It was before. I mean, I'm not gonna say I haven't heard of it. I feel like I hadn't yet, but I did watch Unsolved Mysteries back then, so maybe I had.
I mean, either way though, it tying it back into the reincarnation thing, a normal 4 or 5 year old should not have this emotional response to the point of crying over a boat.
And it was just the waving.
Have you even ever been on a boat yet?
Yeah, I know, right? And seriously, I remember.
Do you even know what a boat is?
I remember just waving. I remember the boat waving, and I remember fucking crying because of the waving. It was so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm with you.
I mean, I totally believe in that. I mean, it's.
I think
there's a lot of memories that if you pick up on memories, if you have a dream of a certain situation, it's like myself. I've had a lot of dreams of past lives of being an Indian scout chasing a white buffalo.
Okay.
Back in the 1600s.
Okay.
And then you bring it up forward, and then I think a couple years ago there was a white buffalo that was born in captivity.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
And it was a very sacred to Indian culture.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at
So you're very in tune with the earth.
It's nature.
Right? Nature. Do you feel that off of him
Absolutely.
a little bit? I do. I think that you're somebody that can, with your bare hand or bare foot, touch the earth and feel all of the memory there. That's what I think is.
Yeah, if there's not a pebble that makes me jump in.
But
yes.
Or a snake. That would get you
snake, yeah.
And that's why you can do what you do with houses and stuff.
Yes, because I work with wood. I love working with wood.
That's what it is.
It's just
but
feeling.
Again, only when you're drunk.
I mean, if you want to bring up that subject.
I would be drunk, but...
No, many years ago, speaking of drunk and working with wood, many years ago at the old house, I built a back deck at my old house, and I thought it was square and true until my dad came over and said that it was out of square, and he brought a case of beer and set it down, fix it. Now, all my friends know when I'm somewhat blitzed, I can do some of the creative things, woodworking-wise, anything. But if I'm not drunk or blitzed, I can't do anything square. So that's where this comes into play. But anyway, like I said, I do believe in the spiritual realm, the spirits, the somewhat afterlife. I mean, if you go into the afterlife, you come back and reincarnated to somebody else, but you still have the memories of the previous life that you have.
Yeah.
So how does one, let's say that, let's say that you're reincarnated, how can you access those previous memories?
It might be from a feel,
question.
A smell, a certain
Smells
note,
big. Yeah.
So a signal of some kind.
a certain sight, a certain color.
A trigger. A trigger.
A trigger.
Yeah, because you could be like seeing something and then remember. Like that's what it is.
Well,
You'll look at something and you'll go, "Oh, I saw this before."
Even as now, they say smell is a huge trigger for memory. So like I remember if I smell a certain smell, I remember my grandma who died years ago. Yeah. But I don't think about it. But once I smell it, oh shit, that's a memory.
It's my grandma.
And same thing with that. They say that smell is the biggest memory trigger than anything else.
Exactly.
When all of your stuff.
But also there is either in, not to bring up sexes wise, but if gay or straight, if there's a life where there's a couple that can't be together and they die or something, and then 30 years later they come back as different people and they meet, but they had the memories of the people 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That's fucking Hawkman and Hawkgirl, dude. That's their. I'm sorry. That's my nerding a little bit.
But that idea, a lot of comic books, if you actually pay attention, are actual it's mythology, and it's spiritual mythology. It makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Now on the straight gay side, there is a series called Until We Meet Again. If you're into that kind of series, this goes from its, life and death and then reincarnation. And it explains, it's really in good detail. It shows, their memories, but 30 years later.
Yeah.
There's instances where I remember I see a sign or I see a color. It's like, I remember that, but it's been 60, 70 years ago.
Yes, that's and you feel it that casually. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, that's something that I felt in 1966. And then you just go about your day, and then you go, wait a second. I wasn't alive in 1966.
I'm 20.
Yeah, but then you think about it, and you go, but it's real, because I can feel this, and I can touch this, and I can smell this, and taste this, and you remember all of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's
but it's that casual.
It is that casual.
You just go, oh no, not since 1966, and then
listen here, Sonny.
45 minutes later, you're like, wait a second, why was I being so cool about that? Right. I'm schizophrenic.
I know, I'm 51, but I feel like I've been on this earth for over 100 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's instances or smells or instances where I can pick up on something spirit-wise. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's either my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother.
Question. So when your mom had recently passed away, did you feel her a lot just in you? In a lot of the things that you were doing?
I felt her in my heart. Yeah. I felt her in
what
my
you
soul,
did.
my basically my inner soul.
Yep.
The body that you have is just a shell.
Right.
What we have will be passed on to somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they say that you can't create or kill energy.
Right. You just exist.
And we're all energy.
Just exist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that is an argument that could be made that when you die, you are an energy being, and you can't kill energy.
You're basically part of the cosmos.
So basically,
right.
So
you're just attached.
So religiously speaking, your soul is, and scientifically speaking, the energy of your body.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're religious, it's the soul. If you're just science, it's an energy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Basically, you're just dirt and water.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's interesting.
I mean, I'm not to get on the religious side. I mean, I'm just saying, you're just basically dirt and water.
And
when you
what fills that up is you.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back, you have these imprints that you bring with you every single time.
Exactly.
And then you.
I mean, if you look at the stories of children that are 4 or 5 years old, but they can point out a picture that's 80 years old.
Yeah, that's so.
I have the memories of it, and they've been proven that they can. They name names, they date dates, they name times.
Yeah,
and once they hit
songs,
but then they don't remember it later on.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that.
Yeah,
so.
It's wild. And then you think about it too. It's like some kids end up like being diagnosed with having learning disabilities that don't have that problem, but they were having this experience.
I was diagnosed with learning disability. They said I couldn't speak. They said I couldn't talk or read.
Right.
You still
and
can't?
yeah.
No, turns out they were right. But
in my mind, people with learning disabilities, they can't speak, they can't write.
Your brain is so busy doing other things.
But their brains are very active, but they're also connected to the spiritual side of things.
Absolutely.
Because they can pick up on sensitivity. They can pick up on sensitivity. They can pick up on insight. They can pick up on the energy. They can pick up on anything. So when you're around somebody like that, pay attention.
Yeah,
because when they try to tell you something, it's because something is happening with them. If they can't speak, if they can't write, look at their hands, look at their eyes. They can tell you.
Like something's going on.
Yeah.
Like something's going on.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Here's a story for you. I don't have kids, obviously. As you look around, you don't see any kids. But
yeah, but you got 2 cats.
I do.
Your kids. What?
Yeah, they are. They're pretty awesome.
Fur babies.
Yeah.
Fur babies. There you go.
Like I used to date a chick who had kids, and one day, this is the story I'm like fuck kids. I don't want them. They're fucking crazy. They can see shit that we can't see. But I'm home and he's in the bedroom and he's just fucking talking. Like he's like saying words. And there's a pause, and he says more words. Like, you know how a conversation would go if you take out one of the people.
Yeah.
And I walk up, and he's just talking. And then it turns out he climbs like, what are you doing? He saw me, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's my friend Bub. He's over in the corner. Where's Bub at? Pointed. Come play with us. So I say, nah. And I fucking bounce, because fuck that 7-year-old.
That's what I'm talking about. If you pay attention to them and they're talking by themselves.
He saw something. That kid saw something right now. Like,
exactly.
And that's what I'm like, kids are fucking in tune to that shit.
Yeah.
Especially if the spirit wants them to be in tune. Is that the right way?
No.
No, that's probably not the right way. But I'm saying, I feel like some spirits make themselves more known to younger people because they'll be more
temptation.
They'll be more accepting to it.
Yeah.
It's because I do believe that people that have, I'm not downing anybody with special abilities or anything like that. I'm just saying they're more acceptable to the spiritual reality of this world.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they see more things than we do.
Kind of like how cats are the same way.
We are taught to be desensitized.
It's true, as
they're
adults.
not. And we don't, because we don't take children or mental handicap seriously. So we're just like, aw,
this is something with animals too. Like, I mean, it's the thing that animals are very sensitive. And
animals are very sensitive.
Especially
dogs,
cats, man.
Yeah.
I've had instances where my little blonders that we talked about in the earlier podcast, it's she can see things.
Right.
They'll look and they'll bark in a corner. Like right now, my husky, Odin, he'll look in a corner and we'll look over there. It's like, what's going on over there? I mean, animals are very perceptive to this, especially cats.
I think cats are a lot.
They are, they're very linked to the spiritual world, especially black cats.
Well, hey, Well, you said you have a story from last week about Skax.
I do.
Yeah, because there's nothing. I mean, it's not an exciting ending, but you told me the next day that you were awake at like 3 a.m. and Skax
3
popped
a.m.
up.
is
That's
the
the
magical
demon
time.
hour, dude. It is. But you said that she peeked up and looked in the hallway for like 10 minutes.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
You
bed.
didn't see anything. But
I didn't. And the thing is like, I didn't see anything, and I, like, the part, like...
Your sensitive side.
Yeah, didn't see anything either. I picked up on nothing, and she
was peeking.
You know, sometimes, you know, we don't pick up on it, but the animals do. I mean...
Right.
She did. And I feel like I trust me more than most people.
I agree.
To figure out if something is present or not. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel it.
And she's a black cat.
She did. And the other cat didn't feel it. The dog didn't feel it. You didn't feel it. Like... And I didn't feel it.
I slept.
When I'm not feeling it, it's kind of like Scooby not having a snack. Like I would have known.
Now a lot of people have a deception of black cats of being evil.
It's the Halloween.
No.
It's the Halloween.
It's not.
Tradition. Yeah.
A lot of things come because the teacher friend of mine, she taught me that the reason why she always adopts black cats or has cats. Cats, not caps, cats, is that it's because they're friendly, they're open, they're spiritual, they pick up more things than regular
open.
cats do.
Yeah, they are open, very open. But I think what they can also do spiritually is see farther.
Yes.
You know, so like if the thing that she saw would have just been a few yards closer, orically speaking, I would have felt it. But it kept a safe enough distance to be there and me not know it. And I didn't know that was even a thing until my cat saw the thing and decided it wasn't a big deal. If she would have freaked out at it, I would have made him get up and we would have saged and it would have been this whole big thing. But because she was kind of like, it's not a bad guy, I was like, okay, I'll go to sleep.
Because once my school teacher, when she taught me about the black cat theory, when a black cat had crossed my path, I've had nothing but good luck.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So it's like the opposite of what
it's the opposite of what you're taught.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that is a belief that I think is taught in like Turkey or I don't know. Like
well, it coincides with Halloween that's coming up.
Yeah.
With October.
By the way, guys, if you're listening, don't fucking buy a black cat just for October and then fucking get rid of it in November because you suck if you do that.
Because you suck.
If
that's your life, fuck you.
That's
I'm going to mail you elephant poop.
Animals aren't decorations, so remember that.
No, they are not.
No.
Anyway.
If you adopt a cat or a dog...
You adopted it.
With your heart.
Yeah. They're not toys and they're not decorations. I didn't know that was a thing until like recently that people did that.
I didn't either.
That's sick. Just buying a black cat for a Halloween decoration.
That drives me insane. Like, why is that even a thing? That never even crossed my mind as an option. What is wrong with people?
I heard people like using them because they want to pretend to be witches, and I heard that and was like, fuck off.
Like, we've all seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Well,
Get the fuck over it.
But just as a decoration, even just the audacity behind that.
I never knew that was a thing until recently. Apparently, like we talked off air, like some adoption agencies don't let you shelters don't let you get black cats in October.
Exactly.
Like, it's that common. Like,
that's
what?
Insane.
Like, those people that do that should be dextered, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should be
dextered. But anyway,
they deserve to be dextered. I agree with you.
I think that should fit the rules.
Yeah.
But
yeah, anyway, that's my Halloween rant for the
Halloween rant. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah, that's just an interesting thing. I think when you talk about the sensitive side, we talk about because like a lot of people don't understand that, but I feel like as time goes on, as we know, it's 2020 now. Like the whole ghost thing is not as what's the word? Like exited out of, blacked out of. It's not as black marked. That's not the right synonyms. But it's not.
It's basically becoming more open.
Blacklisted.
That's
what I was looking for.
Okay, sorry.
As each generation comes,
It's more accepted as we go on. It's more common.
It's more common. It's like with UFOs. I mean, they're more common. I mean, like with the ghosts, the spirits, natural occurrences with Mother Earth. The north, east, south, east, and west. The four corners, as they call them. Excuse me. Sorry. I mean, a lot of you that are in tune with Mother Earth, you will understand a lot of this. Because with Mother Earth, Father Sky, you will understand what Mother Earth actually stands. I'm not talking about, climate change or anything like
recycling.
that.
But just the Earth in
general. You're just in tune with Mother Nature herself.
Yeah.
Which could be an entity of its own.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the Earth, a lot of us will argue that, the Earth is not alive, it's flat. No, the Earth is alive. It's a breathing organism. I mean,
there's all kinds of evidence of that.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
She produces a lot of
she grows
spiritual.
Our food. Yeah.
She grows our food. She has a lot of spiritual attachment to everyone.
Yeah, there's so many different creation stories with
you
Mother
come from dust. You live and you go back to dust. You come from Mother Earth and you go back to Mother Earth.
A cycle.
It's a cycle.
Or it's a circle of life.
Listen.
Okay, Safasa.
Remember who you are. That is a good movie. It's definitely my favorite Disney movie of all time.
Definitely. And fuck those people that say that Frozen's just as good. It's not. It's not just as good.
I've never seen Frozen or Frozen 2, and I hope that remains the case.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But no, on the ghost and spirit wise, it's just, you have to be, it's not the politically correct as everybody has become in this generation. When I was growing up, you had the facts, you either believed or you didn't believe. And I've seen it as I've grown up from, the 60s and the 70s and 80s and 90s and 2020. A lot of things have happened. A lot of things have changed. And we had the coronavirus happen. It changed the world.
It did.
It really did. It
but
changed.
in such a good way, right?
Well, for me, I'm not sure for everybody.
I think it made everybody realize it's like, you can be affected by one virus.
Yeah.
And the entire world is affected by that.
The entire world.
And because of that, 24-hour Walmart and McDonald's are not a thing. Like, I feel like I like living in a world where you're allowed to turn off.
I agree with that. Yeah, so here's the thing, when it comes to the coronavirus...
it's like Player One. They turned off Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah,
that's true.
You need people to turn off.
So at my work, there's an exterminator that comes once a month, and I walk with him once a month. And the coronavirus changed his world because his business picked up tremendously.
Yeah.
Because people are at home, and they're seeing bugs now, so he got called in. At the same time, now, this is my third time bringing up, I hate bringing them up, but I'm doing it again, Haunted AF podcast. They brought on people, and there are reasons to believe that the paranormal world also got more active post-COVID.
Absolutely.
Really
they got loud, didn't they?
They got really loud.
Our
house got loud.
It got scary.
So a lot of the paranormal world has picked up quite a bit. I hate to say it because of the death of the coronavirus, but in all sense of this, I do want to shout out for the heroes.
Oh, absolutely.
That have done this: the firefighters, the nurses, the doctors, anybody that has combated this virus. I salute you.
Anybody that had to keep going to work.
Yeah, because this is. I'm sorry, like. These people need to be appreciated as much as the 9/11 people.
Amazon delivery drivers.
Exactly.
They do.
I hate to bring that
Anybody
up,
in a service.
Amazon.
I mean,
Amazon delivery drivers stepped it up.
Uber drivers, anybody that delivers.
DoorDashers. Yeah.
You guys seriously just carried the weight because it was like I don't want to go to the grocery store, so somebody else is going to do it for me.
Uber Eats, fucking Kroger store pickup, whatever the fuck they call them. Yeah,
it's crazy.
mean, that whole industry has changed.
Yes.
But
you have to look at that. Not only the world has changed, the spirit of everybody has changed, the way we look at our world today has changed. I mean, back then, before the coronavirus hit, we were used to go out and hug, shake hands, go out to
the birthday cake. You blew your candles out.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You blew on your
remember
cake,
them
and
days?
then everybody ate it. That's not happening now.
You remember
You had
pre-2020?
your face mask on when I opened the door. And I was like, you don't have to wear that, dude. We're fine.
Dude, I saw a Snapchat last night of a couple making out at a club with face masks on. It cracked me up.
What you saw was two people pushing their faces together,
they're just
stuffed animals.
smelling each other. Yeah, classy.
If you look at it, the foreign countries, they've always worn face masks.
They have always.
China, Asia, Japan,
everybody. Anytime they're
Thailand,
sick too.
everybody has worn those face masks.
Now my understanding was they did that because the air pollution was so bad.
Exactly.
Not because of a virus, but because of pollution.
They were used to it. Us Americans that, not to change the subject from the ghost and stuff, but
people that aren't in Beijing.
Yeah.
I mean,
but as us,
we don't need
as
that shit.
As a Western power, we're not used to wearing face masks all the time.
No, it was really weird for us. I think you're right.
But it was really weird for us. I still hate it, I do it.
We think we should be rewarded for it so much.
Yeah,
I mean, but for
we are patting ourselves on the
back.
But for the last 20 years, as Jim has just pointed out. Every other fucking country has been just.
There was a lady arrested in Logan, Ohio the other day for not wearing it and not complying with cops for not. Because, the rules were wear it. She didn't wear it. So the cops came and then, okay, you don't wear it, but you have to leave, though, because it's a private property. They tell you to leave.
Yeah.
So she refused to leave. So they had to arrest her because she refused to leave.
Oh, my God.
So it went viral because, and then the
cops
news, they say woman arrested for not wearing face mask, but no, it was because she refused to leave when they were told,
Yeah.
And so it's a thing. But that being said, the whole point of this was that wearing a face mask in public private property is not a violation of First Amendment. That's the point of this statement. Anyway.
That was a long walk for a short chicken.
But a lot of people don't realize that. They say,
short walk on a long pier, right?
If I have to wear a face mask in Walmart, that's a violation of my First Amendment. No, it's not. Anyway.
And also, when we were at Kroger today and I saw 3 people without face masks on, I was like, oh my God, what the fuck are they doing? There are 300 people here with face masks on.
Hopefully 2 years from now, that's no longer a thing.
But I have to say that, in our world, the spirit world, any world that you believe in, third dimension, the fourth dimension, whatever, a lot of things have changed because of this virus.
Yes.
A lot of
I know that the paranormal world picked up tremendously since this virus.
Got loud. It did.
And
I think it was.
We feel that.
We do, and I think it's one of those. It's not this It's not a desperation. That's not what it is.
No, it was just an energy. The energy changed.
So
the energy
strong.
changed. The whole world. The whole world energy changed. The spirituality of.
She's getting the bag.
Thing.
Skex is climbing.
It's the cat.
The black cat is getting the bag. But anyway.
She's like, you talking about COVID?
No. There she goes.
Anyway. But I think what they're doing is I don't know. I think it's a positive. I just keep feeling a positive.
I honestly, honey, I feel positive too.
I
felt there's a lot of people. We're looking at it. A lot of us, including you guys and myself, we look on this. A lot of people have looked at us on a positive side because it has opened everybody's eyes around the world.
Yeah.
My life got way less stressful since COVID.
Me too.
It just did.
It did. And you know what? Like, employers and everybody just started doing, like, they were like, you know what? You actually do need to take the time to take care of yourself and your family. And that's all it boiled down to. It was like, we don't need to be 24/7. We don't need to stress you guys thin. You are allowed to want to be with your family. You're allowed to want to invest in your home. We get it. And, like, because the whole world agreed that was okay, things got better. That's what it was.
America was on a bad path.
We were awful.
Yes, we
it
were.
was dangerous. And a lot of people were miserable. And, like,
24/7 is not good.
No, and if you look
It's
at
not.
the suicide rates, when you are 24/7, when you don't get to take a couple days off of work in a row, the weekend, and spend it with your partner,
At least
your
2
spouse,
days
your
off.
loved
Yes,
one.
exactly.
You know, like, why is it a big deal that I want to be with my spouse? People act like, because that's what my last job drove me crazy, because they acted like, well, you don't have kids, so why does it bother you if I need you to work a 16-hour day? And I'd be like, because I have a husband that I want to go see, because I have a dog that misses me, because I don't fucking want to be here, and that's okay? And they were just like, well, why don't you want to be here? We do profit sharing.
I know, seriously.
Exactly.
And it was like,
Now-
fuck you.
Now, speaking on that note, that's, when we bring back into the spirit world where, people have revenges.
Yes.
Unfinished
Anger.
business.
That's a
anger.
negative
Anger is the big key.
Negative energy, which
Yes.
is anger. That's
Exactly.
it's a powerful emotion.
That's what you
Anger
feel the
is.
most, I think, when you feel
That-
angry.
Anger is powerful.
That's where you have the battle between good and evil. It depends on the angel side or the demon side.
And
Historically,
I love that theology. Is that
Yeah.
the right word to use there? I love the good versus evil theology. I really do, because anger is powerful.
it is.
Yes.
But also compassion is powerful.
Yes.
If you,
So to have them go head to head, I'm talking about
no, go ahead.
But to have those things, I'm not. When it comes to religion, I don't really have a belief, honestly. But
No,
I love.
it's pretty fluid.
But I love the fucking idea of, like, God versus Satan, or like the archangels versus, like, I love the show Supernatural. I love the movie Legion.
yeah,
because
Legion is fun.
I just love the idea of that, because whether God exists or not, it doesn't matter if he exists or not. I know for a fact that the spiritual world does exist.
Yes.
And I know that evil exists in that
In
world.
that world.
And so
what you see spiritually that people always refer to as, like, the angels or whatever, what it is just, like, purity. That's
Right.
it. And the fear that comes from being that clean.
And I truly believe that there is, whether it's God versus, or heaven versus hell or not, I truly believe that there is a balance. The good versus the evil balance is a thing.
There always will be a yin and a yang.
Right.
No matter what the situation is, there's always a balance that will always equal out everything.
Right.
I mean, like we talked about, the good and the evil. In the spirit world, you have people. I've talked to people, and I've heard stories of people where, loved ones have come back because they have unfinished business, or they have a thing that's somebody did them wrong, but they want to give that person a chance to make it right.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like I need, like,
For forgiveness.
That's just a fucking, and that's a powerful feeling. That's an energy that's strong. That was once compassionate, I guess. I don't know.
Some of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been feelings like, in my old house, like we talked about the figure in the bedroom going through the curtains. That's the first time I've ever felt an evil presence. I've never felt anything like
Me
that
neither.
before.
And or since.
No,
when that happened here.
Yeah, the only time I've ever felt something is like at our new house, seeing the black shadows by the river. And I've talked to Adam, my partner. It's something to do with the flow of the water,
Okay.
because the spirits follow the river.
Okay.
Or
I get that.
I do get that. Now,
I get
there's a
that.
lot of areas like Gettysburg. You have a lot of spirits that show around Gettysburg
Right.
because of the battle.
Oh,
Right.
have you been to Gettysburg?
Yes.
Is it not insane? insane.
I need to go
It
back,
is
man.
insane.
I haven't experienced anything. I've been there.
I was in 8th grade.
You just feel it.
When I was
know.
younger.
I went when I was 25, 26. We went to Philadelphia, me and Anna, to see. I'm sorry, no, it was. It was Philly, to see Tom Petty, and I had floor seats, and I've never had floor seats before.
Nice.
And so we drove all the way to Philly so that I could see Tom Petty in the floor. And then, on the way home, we decided, fuck it, when are we ever going to be in Philadelphia, or in Pennsylvania? Like, let's go to Gettysburg. So we took like a 5-hour detour to Gettysburg, and we were there for hours. Basically, we were awake for a 24-hour period because we decided to go to Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was awesome. And then when we got to the hotel in Wichita, Kansas, we went to bed, but I was stupid. I was like trying to close the curtains, and like I almost broke a bunch of shit, and Anna was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I just want it to be all the way dark." And she was like, "If you want it to be all the way dark, close your eyes. You don't need to climb anything. Like, stop." And then I woke up the next morning after this fitful state, and she was like, "I'm so fucking glad you got a couple hours of sleep because you were starting to drive me fucking crazy." And I was like, "I'm sorry, dude. I feel so much better now." And then I, like, flicked up my blanket because I was going to get out of bed, and a sock that did not belong to me came flying out of the blanket. And I like, kind of lost my mind a little bit, because that means I slept in a bed that somebody else had slept in.
And not clean sheets.
And it wasn't clean sheets.
Yeah.
And they also left their sock behind.
That's gross.
So, like, that
That's really
made
gross.
half, like, she didn't take anything off before she made the bed. She just came in and made the bed.
That really
And
grossed me out.
It really did.
Yeah.
She laughed so hard at me, like, "Oh my God, you're going to be, like, so afraid to sleep for 4 days because of this." And I am so glad, because if you would have found this last night, we would have had to move out of this hotel room, and I would have been too tired to deal with you, and we would have fought. So, haha, fuck you, you slept with a sock in your bed.
That's hilarious.
It was awful. But anyway, all of that being said, Gettysburg.
So, man, I gotta ask her about Gettysburg.
It was. I feel like even though it wasn't like physically present on like with your spiritual eye, I just saw so much fog and mist. Like, it was just
In that fog and mist, if you're video recording or taking photos of any kind of mist, make sure you really look at that mist, that video. You can capture a figure. You can capture.
when you take it, when you can only see it with your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
But
that's a good thing to know. I didn't
believe
know that.
But also, if you're taking a photo and you don't see anything there, always look at what you take, because you can actually capture something that you don't see there, but you can capture it in video.
Okay.
Video or digital. But the best evidence, if you ever take a photo, take it with
like film.
35 millimeter film. It's not digital, because a lot of digital things can be manipulated.
They filtered, yeah.
Right.
But if you take it with regular film, the old film, the 35, 45, 50 millimeter film, what film you use, get it developed, because on that black and white film, you can actually see
stuff.
The evidence.
I believe that.
I do too.
I'm telling you, Gettysburg scares the shit out of me.
It's intense.
There is a video out now of Gettysburg where there's a gentleman driving down the road. There's a cannon.
Yep.
And you can see the figure come up out of the ground by the cannon and then run across.
I don't think so.
I posted it on my page. Actually, I posted that same video on the Paranormal Activities page.
I haven't seen it. I need to see that when we're done recording.
I watched that like 3 times. Like,
it's just like,
I got
goosebumps, man.
Like,
yeah, so like, when I was in Gettysburg, it was, I tell you that, it was March of 2002, because it was right after 9/11. We were supposed to go in November.
Like 14, 15.
Yeah, we were supposed to go in November of 2001, because 9/11 we had both put it to March of 2001.
See, all we did, we went to D.C. That's what we did. We didn't go anywhere else.
Our trip was DC. We went to Gettysburg for a day, then went to D.C. for like 5 days.
Really cool.
So, But Gettysburg, I was there. I remember seeing a few things, and I was in 8th grade. So however old you are in 8th grade, that's how old I was on this trip. I don't know what that is. 13, maybe. And I felt that feeling, the heavy feeling that we've talked about before, and it scared me. And then since I never saw ghosts in Gettysburg, but I've always wanted to go back. But I've made excuses not to go back.
Oh, yeah, because you're afraid.
And like so,
Gettysburg is fucking scary.
And I've realized that if I go back to Gettysburg, like I'm gonna I don't want to.
You're going to have an experience.
The place is just heavy.
It is.
Even what I mean? Yeah. So like.
It's so you know what I decided it was because I kind of figured it out after like they were like on this stretch of grass. 5,000 people died. And if you turn left on this stretch of grass, 3,000 people died.
We had a plan to go back. Eric and I had a plan to go a couple years ago, and those plans fell through, and I was kind of relieved.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to, but
that's it. Like, everywhere you turn, it's just that body count, they said it was worse. I took a course in college, and it was American literature during the Civil War. And so it wasn't stories about the Civil War. It was what was published during the Civil War that people were reading. And so that was when stories like the Yellow Wallpaper stuff were coming out. And so it's like, these people lost their fucking minds because of how much death happened. And their death toll was worse than 9/11. It was worse than World War II. The only other war that can compare in modern times is Vietnam.
Do you know why?
Isn't that insane?
Do you know why that is? I can tell you why that is. I remember this in high school.
Why?
It was one of the bloodiest battles because it was the first war that they started using new technology, and the defense didn't know that technology existed. For example, the Gatling gun. So they invented the Gatling gun for the Civil War, which was basically an automatic gun for the first time.
And they never talked about this in history.
Agent Orange.
Yeah.
And so like the defense, the other army came up, oh, let's go fight these guys. Well, then all of a sudden you're getting fucking shot at automatically by a weapon that they've never seen before. You can't defend that.
You can only just imagine if you ever go back to those areas if you are really a spiritual person that can pick up on the spiritual world, on what you would feel in those fields, those rice paddies and stuff that
oh my god
that they have.
I bet that's crazy. The rice paddies, like when you said that, my chest immediately went, nope, I don't want to do that. Like it would be so overwhelming, that magnitude, and that's what Gettysburg felt loud and just holy shit.
It's just sad, man.
It just
I don't feel like the sun shines in Gettysburg.
No, it's like it's just oppression. You can't take a deep breath. Yeah. You can't stand up straight. Like you don't feel like you can get enough air or water when you're in Gettysburg. Like it just you feel like you're dying the entire time you're there.
It's a weird place.
It's really crazy.
It's unique.
It's because of all of that despair.
Right.
And then history.
That creates energy.
We honor it regularly, which continues to give it power.
Sure.
Which is why we focus so much. Modern times now, we focus that kind of energy towards the World War II concentration camps. Mm-hmm. We don't ever want anybody to forget, so we're like, hey, we need to remember. And we gave that same kind of like, don't forget this kind of feeling to the Civil War that people are giving to like the Holocaust because it's such an atrocity.
Now, speaking from my military background, in Corfu, Greece, there is a castle. And if all the military personnel that are listening, if you hook up with a family, you get to see different sites than most people get to see if you're a tourist.
Yeah.
I unfortunately got to see undergrounds of a catacomb of a castle in Corfu, Greece. Oh. And
that just sounds insane.
Yeah,
it is. It's very insane because you go through. It's a catacomb, and through these catacombs, me and a good friend of mine, we picked up on a lot of different atmospheres, a lot of different spiritual wise, good and evil, because, you know, castles have, you know, the dungeons, the torture chambers. This castle was built in the early 1700s. And the upper part still had, you know, some of the main structure left, but the family that I got to know very well, which I was invited to dinner to get to know the father and the mother and the son and daughter. But the son said, hey, you know, you want to see underneath the castle?
Oh, God.
That nobody else, no other tour, no other people would be able to see.
Yes, I know that.
And
yeah, you have to say yes, but this feels kind of like how I felt in Mansfield Prison.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this is going to
Very
feel like.
Throughout my military career, I learned from the very get-go, if you get with a family, if you get to become friends with parts of family, you get to see parts of that country that you don't
get to see
as a regular tourist.
So when you got to go into the dungeon, what did that feel like?
Scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
explain
pitch
that.
black. All you have is a flashlight. Back then, you know, the phones, you didn't have lights on your phones back then.
Listen, 51-year-old.
With your analog life.
Right. This was back in...
We all know what VCRs are, all right?
Right. This was back in 89, 90, 91
Gotcha.
type era.
Okay.
Corfu, Greece.
And
We pulled into port in Corfu, Greece. One of those names. And I met up with the family in a and she introduced me to it was a local restaurant, and I got to talk with her, this, that, and the other. I got introduced to her son and daughter. Got to talk with her son, and she said, well, are you here on the American ship? And I said, yes. And he said, well, would you like an underground tour of the castle?
and you said, fuck yes.
Yes, exactly. Well, there was like 5 of us that were there, and I got to learn very quickly, if you're in the military and you're in a foreign port and you get introduced to a family, embrace that family, because you get the experience like nobody else gets the experience. I mean, a tourist, yeah, you get there, you get a hotel, this, that, and the other, but if you get to know a family in a foreign country and you're in the military, take it. Do the fact, because you get to see underground castles, you get to fly through I got to fly through the Alps.
That's really cool.
And I got to fly over the Eiffel Tower in France.
See, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
So when you got to go into the dungeon,
Okay.
what did that feel like?
It was very creepy and scary. We didn't see any of the torture device because, you know, the wood has decayed over the years, but the feeling.
Yeah.
You picked up on the vibe of the evilness that was in that catacomb.
So it was like you heard from the history of the building, you felt
it. You felt the heaviness, you felt the
But what you felt would have been like what motivated the bad stuff, not the noise that the victims made. Like
right.
what you
Exactly.
heard, the thing
What
that
I-
lived there was
Yeah.
not the victims, it was
No.
the evil.
The evilness.
That's because that's an interesting thing to note, is like the kind of memory structure holds.
I think one thing that gets overpassed a lot is the feeling. The feeling is like, I would trust my feeling over an EMF meter
Every time.
over a spirit box.
Always
over
trust your feeling on what you feel.
all day. Absolutely.
Basically, what they call trust your gut feeling.
Right. That's
Yeah.
your
Yes.
gut feeling, especially in paranormal, dude. Because I can tell you, like, even with your spirit, Danae, with your corner spirit, that one time we talked about before,
Yeah,
you can just tell.
it was bad.
And
It never fails. If your gut, your stomach, your inner soul,
Chest.
whatever, it basically it's your gut feeling. Go with it.
absolutely.
It never fails you anytime.
And if
Never.
they're absolutely,
Never. You're right.
And all these ghost ghost tools that we've used and have, you know,
like EMF,
there is like a backup.
Yeah.
Like to validate you when you're doubting.
Absolutely. They are a validating thing. They're a proof thing, and they help you understand what you're feeling.
Yes.
But your feeling is not incorrect,
right?
By any means.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're learning to speak a foreign language. Those tools are like the English language translation of that world, right?
Absolutely.
So they're just there as a backup. They make you feel better. They make you validate your understanding. That's it. But like, that's not the only thing. And if that's the thing that you rely on to get through experiences, then you don't. Right. You're not prepared.
No, I agree.
That's not a thing.
There's like a lot of like ghost hunters. I use parentheses around because ghost hunting is not a thing.
God,
that ghost adventure
fuck
guy.
that guy.
Yeah, dude.
What a douchebag.
That show's a joke. Any ghost show's a joke.
100% a joke.
Yeah, man.
God.
Yeah, it's a whole joke. Basically, if you have to use tools to be a ghost hunter, you're not.
And then you like only rely on those tools. Yeah. Like that's it. You just use tools silly. And then you go debunked.
If you rely on the ghost hunting tools like the EMF detector,
it's not
temperature
real.
Gauge.
Yeah. The temperature gauge. Yeah.
But I hate to say, but the EMPs.
Oh, I don't know.
Those it's electric. I can't remember what it's called, but it's called EMPs.
Magnetic phenomenon.
Yeah. Oh. Those you can rely on because you can hear with your ears, but the electronic voice recorder can pick it up.
That's what we picked up on the Spirit Box last week. The Be Nice to Me. That's an EMP.
Oh, okay.
Now, when we were ghost hunting, rarely do I get an opportunity to ghost hunt. When I do, I jump at the opportunity because several years ago, we had an opportunity to investigate a friend of mine's brother's house. And he had odd acquaintance or happenings happening to him. And he wanted us to come and find out what was happening. Well, we get there, we do the EMF, the temperature, this, that, and the other. Nothing shows up but the EMP. That shows up. The voice phenomenon. I mean, you cannot deny that.
No, you
because
can't.
You can't hear it with your ears, but once you play it back, you can hear the voice talking to you.
And if you look at it, the audio file on your computer,
it will show up.
Right, it'll show.
It shows up.
Now, also during this investigation, some of us had saw the shadow figure. We see things move. But the thing that stood out for me the most, one of my good friends that went with us, scratches showed on his face.
Yeah, that's where it gets demon
scary. That's when because all the evidence that we had, we kind of showed that something was not friendly in the house.
Sure.
I can't say that it was a demon or anything like that, but it was negative in the house. After that, we went home. We had almost 9 hours, 10 hours of stuff to go through. And we pick up on the voice phenomenon. But other than that, nothing else showed up. It was just the voice things that we heard.
It's like at the Evening Leader.
It is.
We had that.
We have that EMP. Actually, if you want to listen to it right now, I can show it to you right now if you're interested.
Yeah, sure.
So we did a ghost hunt at the Evening Leader in St. Mary's, Ohio, about a month ago. And I was listening back to the audio that we did, and there's a lot of we talked to a ghost named Jeremy. As crazy as that sounds, and that's not what this is. So that I knew was going to be there because I could hear it live when we were talking to the Spirit Box. It talked back, but as I was listening, this popped up, and it was a different voice. And I said before this audio that I'm about to play you here, put these on real quick. But before this audio popped up, I said, "Do you want to talk?" or whatever it was. I was asking.
Yeah.
Right.
And then this is the audio that picked up. So those of you who are listening, if you already listened to this episode, bear with me. And I'll play it for times for you guys. I'm not sure.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what we hear is be nice to me.
Yes.
And
that's what I hear.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that is. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, we're going to start talking to you. If you want to talk back. And that's what popped up. And I did not hear that live on the Spirit Box.
No,
I heard that.
You normally, a lot of people think they will hear things automatically. You can't. When you speak and you have a voice recorder recording, say what you want to say, give it a few seconds.
Listen back.
And then listen back.
Right.
A lot of spirits will contact you. Give them a chance to do so.
Yeah, because they have to decide, first of all, they have to figure out how. Once
If
they
they
decide,
can,
they have to figure out how, because we live in a physical state, and
Right.
they don't. So they have to figure out what they're going to do and how to get the energy behind that movement for you to see it.
Right.
And second of all, they have to trust you to be able to be that vulnerable.
Exactly.
That's it.
If they do trust you, from experience from not ghost hunting, if you have a lot of electronic gear running, if it starts to die, be ready for your voice recording.
Absolutely.
Due to the fact that they're building up energy
and always
to speak to you.
You're taking
backup batteries.
Backup batteries, exactly.
Always have backup batteries.
I have a buddy who doesn't believe in ghosts, but he will tell you at the Waverly Hill Sanitarium in Louisville, outside Louisville, they walked down the Death Chute tunnel where they used to carry out the bodies. Mm-hmm. He had a brand new flashlight with brand new batteries, and it died on him like 3 times.
Yep.
And he'll tell you, he's like, I don't believe in ghosts, but this did happen.
For a lot of people out there that are ghost hunting or believe in the spirit world, always look for that sign. If you have batteries, if you have video recording, if you have flashlights, anything that has power to it, they will drain that to try to manifest in front of you or to leave a voice recording for you.
Yeah.
Do not.
That's the truth.
Do not dismiss that.
Absolutely.
As a malfunction.
When he was saying about like the batteries, our smoke alarm.
Oh yeah.
Upstairs. That goes off all the time when it's my brother, and we know it's my brother.
It only goes off all the time. It's not all the time. It's in certain situations. We whipped out the Nintendo Wii, immediately it beeped.
Yeah, like you do something that my brother was like fond of, like that.
Yeah.
Like video games or.
We whipped out the Halloween decorations for the first time. It beeped.
Oh yeah, that
immediately.
Like, just things that he would
kind of like how
want to be a part of.
Like when you walked in earlier and that fell down. It was just that kind of scenario.
But for Caleb, Caleb always is electronics, so he will make a noise. He'll do that kind of stuff. Right. Physical stuff, that's something else.
Yeah,
but that's the same idea. Like we'll whip out the Nintendo Wii, that will beep.
That will beep for Caleb.
We start hanging up Halloween decorations, it beeps.
And then I said, while we were hanging up the bats upstairs, I said, people are watching us right now, and they're like,
oh shit, yeah.
It's like, people are watching us right now, they're kind of getting a kick out of it. And he was like, I don't feel that. And I was like, you don't feel it? I feel it. And I was like, people from all over that don't have anything else in common but me are watching us decorate, and they think this is really cool.
Well, as soon as I said I don't feel anything, a knock happened down here.
Something
we were up there,
fell,
and then like a bang, and there was nothing. I came down here and inspected it. There was nothing.
At my old house in Dayton, I used to throw an annual Halloween party every year, and I have had hundreds of people come through the house every year, and when I start decorating, you get that feeling like there's something there.
The decorations.
There's a feeling there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I've always said, if you want to make your presence known, let me know. If you don't like, let me know. And there's been a couple.
You always want to interact peacefully.
Exactly.
Don't you see that?
Absolutely.
He's not trying to dominate.
For all homeowners that are out there that have an older home built from the 1800s or the early 1900s, if you're remodeling, I know this sounds dumb, but speak to your house.
It's not dumb.
It doesn't sound dumb at all.
Speak to your house because it will speak back to you either by pickling of the paint or the pipes busting, one or the other. Seriously, if you ever start to decorate for Halloween or Christmas, speak to your house because it will speak back to you if it likes or dislikes.
I think our house lights.
And
so
I'm
too.
speaking this from experience. I mean, a lot of homeowners out there will agree that they've had experience like this. My 16 years at the old house in Dayton, every Halloween, if I started decorating, if they didn't like it, they would knock it down, and I would redo it. And if they approved, it wouldn't get knocked down. And that's how I decorated my house every year.
That's interesting.
That's very respectful.
I have to say this. We just said earlier today, like we've had to replace some of our decorations because it keeps getting broken.
You will have to. If you ever decorate your home, even today, all previous homeowners, if you have to replace a light bulb, a fixture, anything, it's because there's something speaking to you that it doesn't like what is there.
Well, I'll tell you this.
What's there?
Yeah, we had to replace these knives in our kitchen, and the ghosts can fuck off. Those are staying.
Yeah.
So
those are ours. I love them.
Those are staying.
I mean,
And I broke a Hocus Pocus jar.
That jar was pretty cool. And you broke it yesterday. And I almost broke it once, and I saved it, and then she broke it yesterday. So I'm like, maybe that was meant to be broken.
I mean, okay.
Right? Like,
so we're on this subject. If something is meant to be, it will be meant to be. If there's something happens in your life, if there's something out of the ordinary that happens, there is a spiritual connection. There is a guardian angel. There is either a divine intervention, as some people call it.
but why did my Hocus Pocus jar get broken? Because I like it.
It's just clumsy.
It's either that or whatever.
Can I buy another one because I want it? I want to buy another one, and I don't want it to get broken. I want to keep it.
But there's a lot of situations like we talked about past lives.
Yes.
It's what we call deja vu.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of things that have come in my 51 years that I've been alive.
Just gather. You're doing research.
I'm doing research.
Gathering
Exactly.
information. That's fine.
But there's been a lot of deja vu.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have an experience where there is a deja vu, that means there has been a past life.
That's exactly
you've
right.
been in that same exact experience.
Yes.
Do not deny that. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Do not deny it. If you experience a deja vu, sit there and dwell on it. Experience it. Find out the facts.
Learn from it.
Here's a
And
question.
learn from it.
I got a question
learn
for
from
you.
it.
The last couple of years, I've really gotten into the multiverse.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is multiverses. I mean, there
This
is
dude
dimensions.
believes all the things that I
There
believe.
there
Yes.
is.
And so my one of my, not necessarily
Space
theories,
and
but
time.
one of the things that I kind of think about sometimes is deja vu may not be part of your past, but it could be something that your other multiverse
has experiences
at this moment.
I myself,
like that too. I do.
I'm saying this now as myself. I do believe there is multi-universes.
I do too.
No matter what science says,
Right.
whatever.
We've talked
Science
about that.
science is all about it.
Yeah, science believes in it, but
Yeah.
me and you have talked about it.
We
I told
have,
you that.
absolutely.
I do
This-
believe that there is multiple yous.
Yeah, me too.
And
Like,
sometimes where deja vu comes
Right.
into play, you cross paths.
And that's kind of where when it comes to deja vu for me, it's that maybe it's not past, but it's just another version of you.
It's like
Yeah.
you're sitting here today. It's like, hey man, I experienced it. Like you passed yourself.
Right, exactly. And so like he's doing this, I'm doing this, but this is one of those times where it crosses.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh shit. That's kind of where I'm at, I think, a little bit.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Theory that I dig into a little bit.
I like that one because when you have those familiar memories,
Memories,
the
exactly.
sensory memories,
Mhm.
the way that you can explain those in the multiverse theory is you seem familiar to me because in this other universe,
You're there.
you're my brother.
Right.
But in this other universe, you're my
a
best friend.
Right.
Or in this
Exactly.
other universe, you're my dad.
And that's where the whole, a lot of people can say this is where the whole spirit thing can play. The afterlife or the reincarnation can come into play because
It does. Because it's the same
multiverse.
idea. It's the same idea. So reincarnation and the multiverse are the same thing. The only difference is for reincarnation, they keep it open to any kind of animal or whatever. Exactly. In the multiverse, you keep it to your current physical state. Right. That's what it is.
Now, being raised, I'm like 1/4 Shawnee.
Okay.
I do believe in the animals, as you speak.
But I think that that's accurate for your experience because you can also, kind of hear animals, right? In a way that other people can't, right?
Right.
I get that. Can a dog live for 19 years? You don't have that.
That's crazy.
Unless the two of you communicate.
Now,
that's a long time.
Animals communication.
For a dog, that is a long time.
Now, my German Chow.
Yeah.
If she would have lived, she would have been 21 years.
See, no, these animals and you connect in a way that
I've always loved animals. If I can rescue an animal, I would. I do not take an animal if I cannot
commit to it.
Right.
Yeah, you do. A lot of people don't do that now. It's their decorations to people.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
People don't, and if the animal doesn't behave the way that they want it to, they get so mad. And instead of trying to invest in your dog or cat or whatever,
and your animal, whether it be a cat or a dog or a fucking gerbil or hamster or a fucking guinea pig, if you have an animal in your house, it should be a family member.
Yes, right? It should be.
And a lot of people treat it like a circus act.
Yeah, and that's not fair.
A lot of people don't. I mean, I've seen a lot of stories over my 51 years that I've been alive. A lot of animals in our society need homes. They are a spirit animal. They have spirits. No matter what you don't believe, whatever, they do have a spirit.
And they talk to you.
They talk to you.
I had one cat. Actually, your fucking cat talks to me now, too. But my cat, she's my spirit animal, dude.
Yep.
And she got hit by a van.
That his death was
but, and to the people that understand us about animals, you believe they are part of your family. They are your kids.
Yes.
They should be.
They are your fur babies. They are your whatever you want them to be.
Your sister, your cousin,
you
whatever.
Treat them with respect. Again, people that treat them like a fucking circus act or like an accessory.
Those are bad.
That's inappropriate.
That's not okay.
That's inappropriate.
You need to learn how to talk to your dog and to teach your dog how to talk to you.
Right.
Like, and it's not just about doing tricks. It's it's communicating. It's coexisting.
It is.
It's an animal that
he has feelings.
If an animal comes to you, a dog, cat, gerbil, guinea pig,
rabbit,
whatever.
Hedgehog,
Lizard.
whatever it is. I have a not pit bull, but a pug mixed Chihuahua that showed up in my yard. I didn't know what to name him. I was out mowing and I picked up limbs in my front yard. Oh. And I went to go get the mower and I came back and he was sitting in my front yard in the center of my front yard. I don't know how he got there. I didn't see no cars pass, nothing. And I decided to call him Merlin.
I like that.
That's a good name.
And this little guy was malnourished, very skinny, but he had a personality. Now, all of us that have adopted, abused animals, they have spirit.
They do.
No matter what anybody else says, they have spirit.
I agree all day.
They imprint on you for who you are, what your activity is. They evolve around you. They do not have an involvement of time. They don't have what I want to call excessive of time. Once you leave the house, they think you're only gone for a few seconds and you come back.
Yeah.
I myself, I've had 3 adoptees at my house. I have Aries, I have Merlin, I have Odin. Odin
These are all
The
is,
god,
great
you have the
names.
god of war in Greek mythology. Then you have
I
the
know.
god of
Odin.
Horses.
Odin is my husky. Ares is my female labradoodle.
That's a good
Merlin
name.
is my pug chihuahua mix. When I come home every day from work, including my partner Adam, they bark, they howl, they jump on us, they greet us with love. They do not understand the concept of time.
That's adorable.
It's a spirit animal. It doesn't matter who you are, if you have a cat, dog, any kind of animal that you have, it's a family member. When they pass, they are a family member.
They are. That's a good way to put that.
It is.
When they are a family member.
Yeah, I saw a political cartoon the other day.
That's so true.
It was just like a cartoon, like somebody drew it or whatever, and it was a cat. It was a cat in heaven with like another dog or whatever, and it was like they still talk about you, and she was like, I know, like that's just like animals, pets. They are that spiritual and they are that connecting, and I really don't understand people who claim they don't understand that. And I feel that people who claim they don't understand that are kind of talking big because for some reason society at one point said it was weak to talk about cats and dogs like they're your family.
Right.
But I feel like that's kind of we're past that. I think as a society we've moved past that for the most part, right?
Yes.
Unless you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
But
I mean, anybody that owns any kind of animal, they are a family member. Whether they're
Right.
cat, dog, whatever.
and they're powerful.
They are powerful to your family. Do not forget this. I mean, even in the spirit realm, when they pass, if you hear a sound, a bark, a smell, or anything that happens with them that you have experienced, it's them trying to communicate with you.
I believe that. And I'm kind of sad because I had a cat, man. I had a cat for shit. She was around 15 when she died. So when I was 20, I don't know. I don't do math. Anyway, had her for a long time. And grew up with her. She was with me my entire, junior high, high school, whatever. She was my cat. But, my parents kept her and I moved away. And I came back for a little bit and then I left again because I'm an asshole. And I really felt guilty. Like, I really, honestly, there would be times throughout the entire time that I didn't live there that I felt guilty that I left my cat. Like, it was fucking sad. And she hugged me. Like, I would come home and she would jump on my shoulder and hug me.
I remember that.
And
you sent me pictures of it,
I
and
know.
I got to see it once.
I know, man. Like, she would just, legit. I've never felt that sense or before that. She's the only cat that would legit just, or the only animal even, that would just, legit hug me. Like, arms around my neck, hugging me.
But you said cat was the only other thing that could talk to you, but now you can hear Moomies.
Well, but now I do hear Moomies a little bit.
Do you hear her?
Oh, yeah. Moomies and I are, fucking...
You hear her now?
We're getting there. Yeah,
Doesn't
absolutely.
that feel good when
It
she talks
does.
to you?
But when she does that, though, I feel guilty, though.
Why?
Because I feel like I shouldn't be talking to you. I should be talking to my cat. You know what I mean?
No.
No, it's not bad. It's good.
How is the fact that Moomies is wanting to talk to you? I think is a
No,
big deal.
it's very good, but I still feel guilty. It's just like, let's say I have 2 kids and my first kid died, and then here's my second kid.
God.
You know what I mean? But that's stupid as that sounds. Like, that's... Sometimes I feel guilty.
Jesus Christ.
Sometimes I feel guilty about it. Like...
I understand.
Because I can still... But then at the same time, though, she's dead. And I haven't heard from her.
You haven't heard from Cat? No, you want to know how you're hearing from Cat? Cat is sending Moomies to talk to you.
Sure.
No,
I agree.
Sure.
No, you're right.
That's what that is.
No, that's why I'm bringing this up, because I feel that's correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm like,
that
oh.
you can't at the same time be sad because she's trying to talk to you and you're trying to ignore her because she's not coming to you the way you want her to.
Right.
She's trying to talk to
Right.
you. Let her.
Right. No, I agree.
You gotta let her.
No, that's absolutely correct. It's just crazy how animals are that strong.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
people resist that shit.
They
You don't
do.
even know. You were in the bathroom. You don't know.
That That would have been
I'll break that fourth
super
wall.
smooth transition.
It could have been awesome.
That was amazing. That was going to be one of those times when people are like, do you remember that legendary ass episode? And we were all like, do you have any idea how many times the three of us were not at the table together? Somebody was getting drinks, somebody was peeing, somebody was having a snack.
Someone was pooing, whatever.
And Ben goes, you don't even know you were in the bathroom. You fucking ruined the whole thing.
I break the fourth wall. That's what I do.
Did.
Exactly.
We've been passing this off for an hour. You ruined it.
Now, remind you that, we all name our pets from either movies or things that we...
Mine was called Cat. Because
Now,
my mom and I couldn't agree with the name. I was like young, and we couldn't agree with the name.
I told you my cat's name was DC for Danae's cat.
Yeah. Well, I had a hamster named Pooh.
Danae's cat.
I had a beagle name that was Tigger. I had a name of a poodle that was named Gigi.
Why? Gigi, why?
And I had a cat named Penny.
Aww.
But my beagle, who was named Tigger, after Winnie the Pooh
Are
and
beagles
Tigger
as
too.
high energy as...
Yes,
Okay.
they are. They are high energy. They howl. They speak to you. If you ever get a beagle, be ready because they do howl. They do speak. They do speak to you.
I don't need a beagle.
High energy.
Our dog never barks and we like it.
It's very convenient.
But the way that he communicates is so nonverbal. Like he has eye contact and body language.
Now my I have raised as you adopted animals, and a lot of adopted animals have spirit. And anybody that denies this is foolish.
Insane. Yeah.
Insane. Foolish. Because
Ignorant.
adopted animals have a
Past.
They have a feeling. Once they vocalize their feelings to you, they are attached to you.
Yes. Once they start talking to you, you are the person.
Like I said, my he is a pug Chihuahua mix, Merlin. When he came to us, he showed up in the front yard, and ever since then we kept him in a cage, of course, because he didn't know how we would act with my other dogs, Odin and Aries. I would get up early in the morning, let him out of the cage, and I would sleep on the couch with him before I went to work. So he imprinted. A lot of animals will imprint on you, on how you feel, your actions, how you interact with other people. They will pick up on that. Do not deny this. They will.
That's true.
And it's because it's their spirit animal. They will connect with you.
This is the first time I felt validated in all of my fucking childhood because I've always been really close with like dogs and cats.
You have. You've always been. His sister got a puppy, and that puppy loves
Sally.
him more than anything.
Yeah.
She adores him, and the only other besides, sorry, this is the truth. It's gonna sound cocky
true.
as shit, but besides me, the only other
You're
person
female.
that
You don't have a cock.
She kind of does, though. Like, it's not
we
really
don't
there.
talk about it. We don't talk about it.
Attitude-wise.
But no, like, besides me, the only other person that has been able to walk into a house
the cat.
and have an animal just immediately decide it likes you is him, and that's it. And I kind of told him before he met my cat.
She did say we should do. She was like, if my cat doesn't like you,
we're gonna break up. I said,
and I was cocky as shit. I was like, dude, your cat's gonna fucking love me.
and I was like,
And sure enough,
you don't know that. He laid down on his back to get that cat to like him. He presented his belly because I was like, if she doesn't like you, this isn't gonna work.
and now she fucking sleeps in my arms.
Now, there's a friend of ours that Adam and I met for the first time, and they have a dog. And this dog is very particular on who he likes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and this dog greets me.
Our
and
dog loves you.
He does love you.
I know. And I sit down and the dog is in my lap. And I
See, yeah, no, like, that's the kind of, like, the only other person that's that good with our dog is a vet.
Yeah, man. But when you talk about that, though, like, people who don't get along with animals, I don't like
them either. They're
piss me
weird.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
If they don't care about their animals, I get really mad at them.
You have to understand, we're talking about the ghost, the spirit world.
Oh, it's all connected.
Stuff. And it's all connected because your spirit animal is connected to you, no matter whether you have a cat, dog, hedgehog, hamster.
You explained it perfectly. You said they were family. Being somebody that keeps my, like, channel open is I keep it open for my family.
Exactly.
That's it. If I didn't want to hear from my mom or my brother, I wouldn't do any of this stuff. I would not do it at all.
Shut it down.
I wouldn't. Yeah, and I would be totally happy to keep it shut down. I would just be like, nope, fuck that. That's not for real. Yep. I am crazy and a little schizophrenic, but the world doesn't need to know that about me. That's how I would be.
I mean,
I lost people I care about, and now I'm like, nope. It's the truth, and I am not crazy, and I love them. And if you make your animals that important to you, they're always going to be with you.
Exactly.
They're spirit animals.
I know where this podcast is supposed to be, ghosts, spirits, whatever.
No, it's
but
whatever.
Animals have spirits and souls.
Animals have spirits too, and you have to understand, as animal lovers will understand this, that we do communicate after they do die.
We do.
No matter if we have, a house fire, having a dream, and they're barking, turns into
you can't argue that, especially because Adam had it too. You can't argue that, man.
I can't argue that. Life. I can't. That's the only thing that saved me and Adam that night was because Blonders was barking, and her barking turned into the smoke alarm.
You can't. That's not something you can argue. No. And the fact that it could be argued because I like to be that guy. Well, let's try to argue it, right? So you had that. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah,
let's argue.
So my argument would be, well, it was a coincidence, but Adam also had that. Mm-hmm. So how can you argue the fact that two different individuals?
Remember when we had that dream? We heard that tapping.
We did hear that tapping.
Somebody had
in the old apartment on this table.
We heard this tapping,
and we didn't. I woke up in the middle of the night. So here's this example. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't think you've ever been there.
No.
But it was just an apartment.
I've been here.
I know. So a picture of this.
And that's it.
And then
it's just this.
And then there was a hallway, and then there was a bedroom. So we were in the bedroom. And I even looked. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I hear, imagine I'm wearing like a metal ring.
Yeah.
Like this. Hang on.
This is metal down here. Yeah. No, what I heard was.
Yeah. No, it was like this.
That. But not even that constant. It was like
it was more like a
tapping. Just tapping.
Like somebody casually hitting the wedding ring.
So that happened. And this is in 2000.
Doing their budget.
And this is in 2017.
Because that's how specific I heard it.
This is in 2017, and I heard that shit.
2016, 2017.
It was 2017. It had to be 2017. It was 2017. And I looked, and I heard it. So where I sit on the bed, I could if I did this, if I leaned over, I could look
all the way to the front.
I could see the entire apartment if I looked.
If he leaned over to the left, he could see the entire apartment.
That's what we call a gunshot. Apartment.
It was a gunshot apartment.
And I heard that tapping. I'm like, there's somebody fucking. So I looked, and there was nothing out there.
And I did this. I rolled over him in our full-size bed because, no, not a queen or a king. A full-size bed.
This is early on.
I rolled over on top of him and was lurking straight down the gunshot hallway going, I hear it too.
Yeah, but no, it was the next day when I was
we didn't talk about it. I looked separate from you. I thought you were sleeping and I was looking for it.
Right.
And then I laid back down and you thought I was sleeping and you got up trying to look for it.
And the next day
we
was like,
tell each other.
Did you hear that shit? And I heard that shit. So then we talked about it. But we both heard this weird tapping all night.
So, and the thing about this table is it's my step-grandmother's table. and her spouse, who was her soulmate, to
owned
two
it.
more perfect
Their entire
people,
life. Yeah.
did not exist. They were married for 60 years. They were together for a
this table
very
has history.
long time. This is their first
the
ever
table.
kitchen table.
Yeah.
This is the table. This is the table.
Same table we were tapping on. This is the same table.
And this, I brought it into my home. She had passed away, and she wanted me to have it.
And you told your stepdad about it.
And I said, "Did your dad ever hit the side of the table?" And he was like, I don't know. Yep, but he might have. But it could have.
He was like, yeah, he did. He said he would sit there. He would fucking tap it with his wedding ring.
While he was writing
what's
checks.
Really weird. I have all of us men are called so-called easy chair.
Yes.
Mine's a couch, but it is.
Well, easy chair, whatever, man.
It reclines.
I have an easy chair that reclines, and I have my feet up.
Yeah.
But anyway, my grandfather had an easy chair where he propped up these feet, and he had the old fireplace next to him where he can control the heat. And you hear this tapping every now and then. Well, the tapping ended up being him spitting in his old batoon.
Oh,
the spit
boy.
batoon.
Gotcha.
My grandfather used to chew. And I have an easy chair. I'm 51. I have my own easy chair where I smoke my hookah. And I relax after every day at work.
You smoke hookah?
Yes, I do.
Nice. I know.
And I sit there and I relax and I have, a glass of wine or beer or whatever.
Whiskey, bourbon.
Whiskey, bourbon, Coke, whatever. And every now and then I'll hear and it would be my grandmother tapping on the kitchen counter if my grandfather wanted either another beer or whiskey.
That's really cool.
And it would be so cool because, not get into folklore, but my grandfather, my grandpa Manning, used to believe in werewolves. And a whole different subject, probably after this podcast. But anyway, but he used to believe in werewolves long ago. And I didn't find this out because, I'm a very spiritual person myself. I mean, there is, we have, God, we have the Creator. I am more on the Indian side because the Indian side believed in the spiritual world. They believed in reincarnation. They believed in the animal spirits. And that's where I lie.
You do. You have a very natural connection.
I think so too. Like you're very earth connected.
Earth, yeah.
Natural.
Mother Earth. It is a Mother Earth.
I try to recycle. I try to.
Well,
I try to do all this.
It's not just that. I just feel like it's more of It's not that you decide to do good things. It's that it's inherent to your belief system that you respect it. And I don't know.
That's how I was raised because my grandparents, my grandfather, he was a woodworker. I think that's where I picked up on,
being crafty.
But the old saying is, when you're sick, your grandparents give you whiskey, they make you feel better.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish that was the case.
Now,
after that on my own.
I remember when, what is so funny is at my grandparents' house, speaking of all spiritual things, when I was growing up, I used to spend a lot of time at my grandparents' house. And he was a woodworker, and he had an old woodworking shop, and their house was connected to my aunt's house by a breezeway.
That's cool.
And when I was sick, my grandmother would give me whiskey and honey.
Mm-hmm. A hot toddy.
If I had a cough, she would give it to me.
Yep.
And I've always believed that when I got sick, I would have a hot toddy.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the spirits and everything that you believe in always follows that.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe in, whatever remedies that you have, like a hot toddy.
It gives it history.
Tea, herbal tea.
So I've got like a weird one for you. So do you know where Orgonia is?
Yes.
So we lived there briefly, on the one street that makes up Orgonia.
The only street on Orgonia.
Yep. And but my so this is gonna be like, my brother's not gonna like that I tell the story, but I have to tell it because it's so cool.
You already told me my shit earlier. My phone.
I know.
That's you. That was
no
Caleb.
spirits
I know,
living.
right?
Do not listen. Anyway.
So Caleb had warts. So to be fair, I will start this story.
I had a wart on my finger. What are you talking about?
I had a wart on my foot once, and it had to be searched. Yeah, on my foot.
It was my dick, and it was when it was in a
All right. Anyway, I had a wart on my foot that had to be like frozen off by a doctor. Caleb ended up getting like 8 warts on the bottom of his foot.
That's gross.
It was awful.
I might actually have my
and do you know what happened? Oh my god, this is the weirdest shit in the world, but it worked. Stefan his dad was like, fuck this. We're going to deal with it right now. So he took us. Jesus Christ, this is insane. I have to take a drink. I'm going to tell this whole story. But as I'm telling it, I'm realizing how insane it is.
I'm all in, dude.
All you got to do is take a can of air, turn it upside, and it automatically freezes your wart.
So here's what we did. My mom saw that I had a wart, and my mom was like, I gotta take you to the doctor, and we're gonna get it frozen off. And I was awake, and they put some shit in me while I was awake. They gave me shots in my foot, and I actually felt them saw inside of my foot this wart off. I felt it in my teeth. They sawed into my skin.
You know, like I understand.
Okay, I just want that to be clear.
To me, that sounds actually relieving.
Now let me explain this to you.
Because like I have really.
My brother woke up and was like, "I think I have a wart," and it was Dad's weekend, so we were at Dad's, and Dad was like, "Oh my God, you have like 20 warts," and he put shoes on us and carried Caleb and made me walk with him the half a mile down to the post. It was a post office / convenience store. And
of course it was.
And it gets better. It gets better.
Was this back in 1980?
1996. Fuck you.
So yeah.
You didn't walk barefoot in the snow either?
Was it 5 miles uphill?
No. But it was across from a covered bridge.
Nice.
And I'll let you know
covered
this.
bridges.
People used to canoe through there regularly, and it was where you had to go to rent your kayaks. So fuck you guys. This was the perfect place to obviously get rid of a dermatological issue such as a wart. The post office / convenience store / kayak rental shop. That's where you needed to go.
Kayak walking over the hill.
Yeah. It's where you would go, obviously, if you needed a home cure. And so this lady named Kate, who was 1/16 Cherokee, yes, that's the truth, 1/16 Cherokee, she had the cure. And that cure was to lock the door when we got in there, and we had to sit down on the floor, and she had pennies. And she told my brother to pick out 1 penny for every wart that he had. So he had 8 warts. So she said, pick out 8 pennies. So he picked out 8 pennies, and he gave them to her. And she was like, okay, now. She was talking to him while she did it, but she took his foot, and on every wart, she took 1 penny, and she rubbed it. So 1 penny for this wart, 1 penny for this wart, 1 penny for this wart, 1 penny for this wart. And while she's doing this, she is talking to him like, what's your favorite thing to do, and where do you like to be when you're outside, and what kind of games do you play outside, and do you go fishing, or do you go hiking, or do you like frogs, and like she's talking to him about nature, and then she, at the end of it, she takes his hand and she puts all of the pennies in his hand, and she closes his hand over it, and she goes, now, for every penny there is a memory. And I need you to bury this in a spot. And you do not tell anybody, no matter what. You do not speak about this to anyone. It is a secret forever. You bury these pennies, and these words will be gone. And for 20 years, I tried to figure out where my brother buried those fucking pennies. And he would not tell me. But his warts were gone within like 24 hours. It was magic. It was real magic.
A lot of, speaking of that, all jokes aside, a lot of Indian folklore. They were here before we took over the United States. They knew how to go to the cross.
They did, yeah.
They knew the spirit of Mother Earth and Father Sky. They knew everything. They knew of the spiritual world, everything. You have to give Native American Indians the credit for, I hate to say it, for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we have today, everything that we believe in, they gave us the folklore. They gave us the corn. They gave us the pumpkins. They gave us everything.
Yeah.
The Indians knew how to communicate with the spirit world. They did.
Yeah.
No matter Cherokee, Shawnee, whatever Indian religion background you have, if you lived in the United States and were born here, you have Indian relatives. And speaking of the United States, we are a melting pot. You are a part of every nation, no matter where you're from. Europe, France, Spain, Cuba, anything.
India.
We are
Canada,
a melting pot of everything. We are a melting pot. That's what it comes down to. We are a race of everyone. Every religion, every belief, every ghost story, every thing that can happen. We are a variety of everything. We are a culture of the world.
Yeah.
That's why the United States is called the melting pot. In my days of growing up, that's what we were called. We were called the melting pot. Like you have the penny story from the Native American.
Wow, that was from Kate.
No, it is the melting pot.
Yeah.
And it's the salad. They say the melting pot. They say the salad bowl. They say all of this shit. And I get really annoyed because it is the melting pot, but
nobody accepts
it.
And
nobody accepts it anymore.
That's why I prefer
annoying.
the term the salad bowl, because in a salad bowl you can see the differences.
The different ingredients.
Because in a melting pot you can't see the differences. But
Nope.
in a salad bowl you can, and that's what we are right now in America. It's really sad.
Yeah. Speaking of the spirit world, the way that we see things. The melting pot. We are one nation. We are one group of people. Whether you're black, white, brown, orange, yellow, no matter who you are, gay, straight, bi, lesbian, transgender, no matter who you are, whatever you believe in, whatever your spirituality is, you have your own story of the spirit, your ghostly experience, your grandfather, your grandmother, your grandparents. You come from a variety of background.
And you have your story that
You have a story to tell on who you are, what you believe. This virus has I hate to say it, has grounded us. A lot of us has grounded us to who we are, what we believe, what religion you believe, who you are. If you believe in the spirit world, if you believe in the third or fourth dimension, if you believe in the Indian culture, Shawnee, Cherokee, whoever you are, look at yourself and think of the person next to you. Think how they feel, how they think life is. No matter what religion they are, what color they are.
I think that's what most big teachings try to do is their idea is to be inclusive like that.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm not trying to segregate anybody here.
No, and you're
I'm
not.
just,
yeah. I'm
just saying that we are a melting pot of different races, colors, creed, religion, anything. We are a melting pot.
Yeah.
That's never going to change. The United States is a place where people can come and say, this is a safety spot.
But people don't see that these days. It's not though. These days they'll say, "You don't love it, then you need to get out."
Yeah. Exactly.
But stupid.
What I like about what you're kind of trying to explain and what you're touching on is, to be inclusive means to not hate because you don't understand or you don't
exactly
right, but it's still safe to have questions or
exactly.
whatever.
I mean,
it's not what you can do is not completely defined by a race or a creed or religion or any kind of a construct. Like you just can, and that's it. There isn't like if you have to have it backed up, it's like I can't help you with that. Like figure it out on your own kind of a thing, right? Like
sure.
I get where you're trying to come from, but I think we're I don't know. I get where he's. I
agree with that. But that being said, though, we are running out of time here. So
yes,
the captivating stuff, the sexy stuff.
The sexy stuff.
What is, if you can think of one off the top of your head, because I'm winging it on you here, your scariest paranormal encounter? If you can think of one off the top of your head.
Yeah.
That's what draws ratings, the scary stuff.
Exactly. My paranormal most experience is I was in the Navy back in 1989, 1990s. My ship captain asked me if I wanted to jump overboard. And, of course, the next port we pulled into, he would offer me, 3 days liberty. And at this time, it was very rough seas. I had to think about it because, at that time, full dungarees, full, leaded, full shoes, still, as we call them, steel-toed shoes, as some of us use in work areas, very heavy. And the night that the captain asked me to jump overboard, we were in 28-foot seas, tossing back and forth.
Jesus.
A lot of us Navy personnel or military personnel will understand this. That the ship almost 30 or 40 degrees, 45 degree angles, almost
go one way. Right.
One way. He asked me if I would be willing to jump, and I said yes. But at that time, I said, if I jump, my squadron will have this many days liberty, this, that, and the other. The night that it came for me to jump overboard, it was 28-foot seas, 45-degree pitches each way.
It's a rough night.
A very rough night. It was 1:15 midnight. I went out to sound the fuel tanks. And I had to make the decision whether to jump or not. And I jumped. Without no vest, no safety gear, nothing. I just went overboard. It was a scary night for me. But in my mind, I heard my mother's voice. My mind says, you will be safe. And that night is very scary. And we were actually in shark-infested waters that night.
Yeah, you were there earlier. Shark-infested waters. Yeah.
But as a lot of seafarer goes, if there's sharks, there's dolphins. But the first sign I saw was shark fins. As I jumped overboard in 28-foot seas, and I took a 38-foot jump into the ocean.
That's because
of the pitch of the ship.
Oh, could you have waited till the ship went like your way?
I wish I could have.
Because action movies.
Action movies.
Explain to us why you couldn't have done this better.
We're to the left. Now we're gonna go to the right and jump.
Let me tell you, Mother Nature the ocean of Mother Nature of the ocean doesn't have her way.
Yeah, dude.
You never do.
I feel like the Earth can be a bitch sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. But,
when you fell in, there were sharks.
There were sharks in the water in that area, and the captain knew it. And
did you know it before you hit the water?
Yes.
Dude, I don't fall with sharks. I wouldn't.
I mean, there's a lot of.
What do you know about?
So
what do you know about being able to handle that situation that makes you okay with saying this is an option?
Why is this an option? What's the point of this exercise?
Why is this happening?
The option of this exercise is to make sure that the ship is ready for anything that happened in wartime status. Because when we was over
sharks
there,
can eat you.
I know. We were in Desert Storm status.
I understand, but sharks can eat you.
But this is just an exercise. I feel like if we're gonna like play it out,
this is how Goose died in Top Gun. Is
that
what we're fucking talking about here?
Worst case scenario.
What the fuck?
Let the worst case scenario play out in the worst case scenario.
Don't make me do this in training.
Why are we testing worst case scenario?
To make this story acceptable, as we're talking about
Top Gun?
Captain Eggy, which was his name, he came to me several times and asked me if I would jump overboard, which would allow liberty for my engineering group. We had 3 engineering groups at that time.
How would you jumping off help them?
It would give them 4 to 5 days liberty in port.
What does that mean?
They would not have to do any duties in 3 or 4 days.
So you got vacation days.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were jumping into shark-infested waters for a couple of days off.
I mean,
how fucking busy were you at work?
I would do it all day.
Well,
I need to relax.
If you're pulling into France, you're pulling into Spain.
I don't think I can relax.
And you're pulling into Greece.
Oh.
And you have all this free time.
Oh, shit.
You can explore.
That's what they're throwing at you?
Yes.
I'll do it.
Jump into the sharks for 4 days off in Greece.
I've watched fucking...
Jesus!
I've watched... What's that dolphin's name? We've all seen... Shit. Dolphin. What's the...
Are you talking about Steve Irwin?
No, what's that dolphin's name?
What are you talking about?
Flipper. We've all seen Flipper.
Okay. Now, make this story short, even though they're talking. This was back there in Desert Storm. I was in the Navy from 1988 to 1982. I was given the opportunity to either jump off ship or not, to make sure that the top watch was doing their duty. And we talk about spirits, ghosts. Every time I did this, I saw my mother. I heard her voice saying that you're going to be okay.
And your mom said it was okay for you to jump into the sharks.
That's the most the most powerful thing.
That's the only powerful thing that made me, if I jumped overboard in no protective gear except for what I had on,
you would be okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Now, when we went outside to sound the tanks, we put on a life vest that had if you pulled a cord, it had a flashing light. Now, the only reason the captain did this is to make sure that the top watches that were out at night were doing their duty. Now, the first time I did it, the top watch caught it within about 5 minutes. The ship turned around and picked me up. The fourth time I did it,
Jesus Christ.
Now, what was so funny is I kept up in touch with my top watch, was down in the engine room, because I was an old steamer. I was an old steamer ship. And we took, soundings, steam, water, whatever.
Right.
And I always told him if my captain contacted me, I would contact my top watch, so he would be ready. But there was one time we was in almost 28, 30-foot seas. It was very rough waters. And the captain came to me and said, it's up to you if you want to jump. Because this would be the actual test if the top watch was actually doing their jobs. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I have the spirit within me, I have my soul, I have my guardian angel, which was my mother. As we've always talked, everybody has a guardian angel. If you don't believe it, we all do.
I believe it. My grandma, all day. Everyone. She's the shit.
Because after I went to the States, my mom passed away, blah, blah, blah. I flew back on the Red Fly flight, and in the middle of that, the captain came to me. Captain Agee was his name. Of all names, Captain Agee. But he said, if you do this, your watch team alone would get, 4 or 5 days liberty in France, of all places. I turned 21 in France.
Oh, shit.
That's
21.
That's actually
I thought, okay,
cool
well,
shit.
that is super badass.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
really cool.
To make a long story short, I'm sorry that this on the podcast, but I was just turned 21, and I've always been a designated driver in the military. I've always driven my friends to wherever they wanted to go, drink, drive, whatever. I drove them back to the ship safely.
You're a fucking loser.
So when it was your turn.
It was my turn.
So did they turn up for you?
Oh, yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Almost $1,000 later, after I decided to jump. After I decided to jump, it was on, July 26th that we poured into Menton, France, that I turned 21.
That's awesome.
21.
That is
21
awesome.
birthday.
That's awesome. I remember my 21st birthday was in my hometown at my buddy's still current garage.
Eric's garage?
Yeah.
Do you know where mine was?
Nope.
The Oregon District.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's famous. Unfortunately, that's famous now.
Yeah. The Oregon District.
Anyway.
But anyway, the captain asked me to jump. And this was like a week before my birthday. He said, if you jump, you get 5 days liberty, and whoever you want to take out with you will have a fund for you, because I drove in the captain, I drove in the XO to where they want to go, have a drink, and drive them back to the boat safely.
Mm-hmm.
So they gathered a fund of $1,000 for me on my birthday. But the night that I decided to jump was almost, like I said, 28, 38-foot seas.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching 45 to 50 degrees angles, and that's almost to where a ship almost tips over.
Right. That's earlier when I was like, that is a huge...
It's a big pitch, and a lot of the military personnel that are in the Navy will understand this. I decided to jump. And the night that I jumped was a voice that told me every time that I jumped, but on this night, I saw and heard my mother's voice. I saw my mother's face. I heard her voice saying to me, "You're going to be fine."
And that's the most confident fucking experience.
Mm-hmm. And I had my life vest on. I had my full gear on.
And you jumped into shark-infested waters.
Water.
And you felt fine. Because your mom said you are safe.
A lot of Navy personnel will say this was in the Red Sea.
This is dangerous.
Very dangerous area.
You would have died if you wouldn't have believed that you would be okay. And your mom told you you're going to be okay.
My mother told me in her voice and me seeing her as I jumped, she said, "You're going to be fine." 45 minutes later, they realized I was missing. The top watchers never saw me. As soon as I fell overboard, I pulled, because when we go out to sign fuel tanks, we wear a vest, and it has an emergency light that blinks very rapidly. None of the top watchers saw that.
Wait a minute. So no. You jumped in, and they knew that you were jumping in, right? Mm-hmm. You can't go missing if they saw you were jumping in.
Right. Well, the only thing that caught their attention is because you have to report in every 15 minutes.
And you didn't.
And I did.
No.
So my top watch
failed.
Reported me missing.
I gotcha.
And that's when they sounded alarm. Every top watch that was on upper decks that night got court-martialed that night.
Good. Fuck them. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
But the only thing that kept me sane was my mother. She was talking to me.
She was just telling you, you'd be all right.
You'd be all right. Yeah. And there was dolphins. There was two
dolphins.
Dolphins
are the
two
shit.
Dolphins that night. Because I watched at night, we have no Altair light except for a red light on our top mast. And I can just see that light just disappearing.
Just going further and further, yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, well...
That sucks.
This sucks. Well, see, I was actually testing for Navy SEAL because when you test for a Navy SEAL, you get tested. You jump overboard, this, that, and the other.
The guy.
And I was tested several times, but I failed. But me knowing from experience and with the spirit and other things that are guiding you, and to this day, I do believe that my mother guided me days that I jumped off a board ship. She protected me.
She's just hanging. That's legit,
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that as well. That's a pretty awesome experience.
Mm-hmm. And the days in Liberty, in my 21st birthday, and I'll admit it here on podcast.
You're still around, yeah. You're still around. 2020.
It was almost $1,000 they saved on my birthday because I drove, the XO, the captain, my top watch. Anybody else that wanted me to drive to get drunk, I drove them back to the ship. But when it became my time for my birthday, it was almost $1,000 on my birthday. And I spent every bit of it, too. And because the first night we went out, Melina, he was fluent in 7 different languages. And it was in Menton, France that we pulled into. And every bar that we went to, he would explain that it was my birthday. And all you guys out there that know what a flaming B-52 is, I had 9 of them every time I went to a bar lined up in front of me.
That's a lot.
That is legit, dude.
Lined up in front of me. And then it took almost the whole $1,000 that they saved up for me. To the very last bar that we went to, a friend of mine, David, he sent a glass, probably about 20 inches high, a foot high. I thought it was water. No, it was 151 rum.
Of course.
I drank that sucker down, and
it was refreshing. It was refreshing.
That was it. It took almost $958 to get me plastered on my 21st birthday.
That's insane, man. That is really crazy.
But all the time in the back of my mind, my mother was telling me, have a good time, you're safe,
Do your
you're
thing.
good.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
So I mean, all of you out there that have this experience, no matter whether you're partying, having a good time, you always have a member of your family with you, spiritual wise, whatever. If you hear that voice, listen to it.
I agree with that. And I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Paranormal Activities. Jim, you were fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you. Have me back anytime. I appreciate
many happy
it.
returns, I think.
I think so. That was awesome. So I really do appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you giving me your experience. It was phenomenal.
Yes.
And it makes me think a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of things that you said, I think we've talked about.
Yes.
And you've validated, which is phenomenal.
Giving it kind of a deeper meaning.
Right.
I
Like
think.
you made it make sense.
A lot of us don't think that, the paranormal doesn't have a lot to involve in our lives.
It does.
But it does.
It does.
I mean, if you really sit down and think about it, you're in school, you're in college, you're at a job, you're at an interview, and you hear that inner voice telling you that you're going to be okay. It's somebody from your past that's telling you that you're going to be okay. It's the spirit that's going to be with you no matter what you do.
Somebody who cares about you.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
No matter whether it's your father, mother, grandparents, godparents,
Friends.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Friends.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate you
you
hanging out.
having me. I appreciate it.
And I feel like we talked about it off air, but I really want to go to your house and do like a ghost hunt there.
Yeah.
Exactly. If we do that, yes.
And I feel like that could be awesome. And record stuff and like put it on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we should do that.
But anytime, let me know. We'll be there.
All right. Well, I hope you better be there because it's your house.
Well, I mean, I can be there as a ghost or as your guest, whatever you want to be.
Whatever works. Anyway, I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you today for coming back. And as always, I appreciate all of you guys listening. And just as an informant, check us out. We're on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, including the new Amazon Music. I am there now.
Listen to Amazon Music.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Listen to it.
It is beautiful. They just started doing podcasting. And also check us out on linktr.ee. That is where you get the exclusive Paranormal Activities. Mention that. Oh, yeah. What's Adam's podcast?
Trainwreck
Knowledge.
Yeah, also, this is a huge breaking news right here on Paranormal Activities. Check out the
Trainwreck
Knowledge podcast. What is it? I'm sorry.
Adam Bernazel.
Adam Bernazel. Trainwreck podcast. On all of your favorite platforms. Check it out. That's
Trainwreck Knowledge.
Trainwreck Knowledge podcast. It's a train wreck. You'll get knowledge.
Well, I'm probably saying it wrong too. Now I'm doubting myself.
I know. I'm doubting myself too.
Jesus Christ.
It's a fantastic podcast.
Stop for a second.
This is what you talk about live podcast.
Yeah,
I
this
know.
is how you
What can
do
you say?
this.
But I don't edit those, so it's still gonna be. It's still gonna be in it.
No, I was right. It's Trainwreck Knowledge.
All right,
You guys.
check out the Trainwreck Knowledge podcast by Adam. What's your last name?
Bernazel.
What's Adam's last name?
Bernazel.
I thought it was. So check
Bernazel.
out Adam Bernazel's.
And what's his friend's name? Jenna.
Jenna.
Listen, guys.
Adam and Jenna's podcast.
There you go.
Called Trainwreck Knowledge.
Check out
On Podbean.
Oh, so they use the Podbean?
Yes.
See, I use Buzzsprout.
They use Podbean.
All right.
Podbean.
All right. Check out the Podbean.
Make sure you give them a
This is
thumbs
the
up.
worst
They
one.
deserve it because they're
You're
comical and everything. Listen to them.
They're
We
good.
love them.
They're very good.
They are good.
They are family.
Yes.
Literally. So, hope you all enjoy it. And if you don't, I don't really care. And I don't.
Thanks for listening.
I don't pander to my guests, dude.
No,
I don't pander to
fuck
my.
Fuck these guys.
We love you all, regardless on who you are, what religion you are, what race you are. We love you.
Actually, I do pander to my guests. I do love my guests or my viewers quite a bit.
I like all 5 of them.
I do.
You better.
I love everybody.
You better.
I love everybody. And
Don't make me smack you.
listen, this is audio only. They can't hear that.
I know.
So
There, I smacked him. See that?
there it is. Hope you all enjoy the show. I really do. And seriously, guys, check out WTBdotcom. Check out what's that podcast called? I'm sorry. One more time.
Trainwreck Knowledge.
Trainwreck Knowledge podcast on
With
Podbean
Adam
with
and Jenna.
Adam and Jenna. And check out all the shows. And I love you guys. And let's all keep learning about the paranormal together. Let's do it.